This great quote from Isaiah is carved on the wall of the United Nations about beating swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks because of the great hope, the desire for the day in which there is no more war. And as we know, that's a hope, and it's a vision. It's not a reality. But I have to say, looking back at the time of Jesus, it seems to me most people were much more interested in beating plowshares into swords and pruning hooks into spears. They wanted to do the opposite. And they were not terribly interested in the land of Israel. There were some people, yes, but many were not at all interested in the nations coming to the holy mountain, Mount Zion, and the place of the temple. They'd really rather not have them in the Holy Land at all, frankly. Thank you very much. And they would really like, at this time, to get rid of all these foreigners out of the land. That was really a kind of a hope in a lot of people's mind at the time of Jesus. So it was not so much about, isn't this great, the nations are coming. It was more like, I wish they'd stay away, that kind of thing. And as I said, there are exceptions, of course, but in general, this was true. So we have this idea that we need freedom in the land of Israel from Rome. And the way to do that is through an army. And the way we're going to get that organized, and we know this from literature that never got in the Bible, literature from the time, would be that this hero figure would emerge, and he would start leading like mini revolutions here and there, but he would always be successful. And these mini revolutions would start coalescing into this great big army. And this army, now people have this in their mind, this hero, Son of Man guy, is going to lead this army. And when they're all together, and they're ready to attack the Roman Empire and all the pagans, the heavens are going to rip open, and angels will come swooping out of the sky with their swords, of course, and help the people slay Romans by the thousand and drive them into the sea, and then reestablish proper temple worship with the right family of high priest at the temple, and get an independent king on the throne, a son of David, and they would have their independent kingdom again and temple worship again. And the Son of Man was going to lead all that. And Jesus kept telling them, no. And they keep saying, yes, you see. And this gospel today is another one of these clues. He's telling them, you do not know when the Son of Man will come. You think you'll know, but no, you don't. You don't know at all. And he told them over and over again, the Son of Man must suffer. And they kept thinking, no, he's not going to suffer. He's going to lead us in the independence movement and all this. And he's going to be victorious. So you see, the expectations were not going to be met the way people expected. And it's easy for us to sit here a couple thousand years later and say, ha-ha, we got it figured out, and you dumb people, you missed it all. Well, what are you missing? What am I missing? And I imagine there's plenty that we don't see either, because we have a particular vision, the way we want things to be. I have to tell you, people did not expect God to come into human history in the incarnation. That was not expected at all. And it was certainly not expected that Jesus, this guy from Nazareth, Podunkville, it was nowhere, really it's a dinky little village at that time, nobody expected he would be the Son of Man. But some people started talking about him like that. But remember, the idea they had in their heads was not the idea Jesus talked about. So that was all unexpected. There was no concept that the one who would lead Israel into freedom was going to be one who is divine and human. He was a superhero, yes, but not divine. The divinity of the Son of Man is a Christian idea, you see. It was something unexpected. The idea that God would come into human history as a baby, that's astonishing. Nobody expected it. A baby, think about it. You got to change the diapers. You got to feed the baby. You got to give it a bath. You have to teach it to walk. You have to teach it to talk. God, are you nuts? Yeah, we are nuts, aren't we? Because that's exactly what God chose to do. What an astonishing thing. totally surprises us, blows us right out of the water if we really take it seriously. So we shouldn't be surprised that people then didn't see it either. Sisters and brothers, it's an amazing thing. The God who lacked nothing would choose to come into our experience. First of all, that's astonishing. And then even more astonishing, as a baby, not as an adult with all this act together. He chose to come as one of us. Really? Wow. You see, we didn't expect it. We have to realize, too, that the Lord in the gospel was telling us that you should keep doing your daily tasks, but keep one eye open. Every time you do something in your daily tasks, remember the coming of God, the coming of the Lord into your life. So, as the women were grinding grain together, or as the men were out in the field, or we could name all kinds of things in our lives as we're studying books for maybe something we're not ready for tomorrow morning at school, okay? Or cooking dinner, or doing the laundry, or driving to work. In a sense, you need to keep one eye open for the coming of God into your life in a way that you do not expect. Watch for it. Keep that eye open, so to speak. Here it comes. I don't know when, but it's coming. And the Lord tells us, you do not know when. I can't tell you how many Christians I've heard on radio or TV or whatever, talking about, oh, an earthquake here and a hurricane there and da-da-da-da, you add it all together and it's coming, here it is. And Jesus, they expect it, don't they? And Jesus said, you don't know when it's going to happen. So stop predicting it. You will never predict it because you don't know when it will happen. Jesus is pretty smart, really. Trust me on this, okay? Follow him. Don't follow these other people, okay? We don't know when it will happen. We need to do what we're doing, our work, with an eye on God. There's nothing wrong with our work, but we need to not lose track of the reason we're doing it is because of Christ. And it's not because of the work itself, you see. We have to remember, as Paul says, watch the time. The clock is ticking, and we don't know when time's up. There's a great little story from the rabbis about this, that there were 3 devils who came to meet with the prince of devils. And they wanted to know how to ruin humanity the best way possible. And the first devil said, I will come to earth and tell them there is no God. And the prince of devils says, well, I don't know, you'll fool some, but not a lot. Let's see if we can come up with something better. So the second one, of course, offers his idea. I will tell them there is no hell. And the prince of devils said, well, we've really done a pretty good job convincing them there is one. They've looked around, so we better not try that one. Okay. And then the third devil comes up and says, I will tell them there is plenty of time. Aha. And so the prince says, yes, you'll ruin them by the 1,000 because they'll never prepare. Aha. Sisters and brothers, let's not be caught off guard like the thief, the person who's the thief breaks into the house that's in the gospel. Let's pay attention like Paul told us. Let's watch for the sign with one eye open that God is coming into our lives in this time and space too, every day. And how are you prepared to greet him when he comes? Good question for the week.